Mishra. And evaluating Mike is Susan. Susan, what did you read his objectives for us?
Mike is going to present a speech today that he has researched. He will have collected information about his topic from numerous sources, and he will support his points with those sources and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered through research. So he'll be like our favorite professor tonight. Mike, please go ahead.
Can you title your speech?
Yes. It's diabetes, the epidemic of 21st century.
Diabetes, the
Epidemic
epidemic of the 21st century. Mike Mishra, diabetes, the epidemic of the 21st century.
Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters, and our welcome guest. The topic of my speech is diabetes, the epidemic of 21st century. Based on my research from certain books and wikis and some publication materials, I realized that essentially we have 4 important questions that comes up to our mind whenever we think about or discuss about diabetes. The first one is, what is diabetes? The second one is, how to know if we have it? Third one is, what is at risk? And the fourth and the foremost is, how to manage it effectively to either prevent it or control it. So this is the speech I chose to make sure that I am well informed about diabetes so that I can make some decisions for me, my family, and my friends if needed. So today I am speaking about these 4 points or 4 questions. So to begin with, the first question is, what is diabetes? The answer is, it is a medical conditions where the body either fails to produce or fails to use the insulin, and due to that condition, our body cannot control the level of glucose in our blood, and that leads to certain other scenarios which I will be discussing eventually in the third point. Now, insulin is a hormone that is produced by pancreas, and that controls the level of glucose in our body. Now, based on the book Conquering Diabetes from Ann Peters, who is an MD, there are 3 primary types of diabetes. The first one is type 1 diabetes. It happens when the body fails to produce insulins, and the reason is most of the time this is hereditary, and it happens for young kids and infants, and sometimes it's also called as juvenile diabetes. The second one is type 2 diabetes, where the body, even though it has an excess level of insulin, it fails to use that insulin to control the glucose in our system. The third one is gestational diabetes, and that happens mostly during pregnancies, where if we don't control the high glucose in the blood or the eating habits are not controlled, it leads to type 2 diabetes eventually. As per the book, The Great Physicians RX, written by Jordan Rubin, the American Diabetes Association.
I'm sorry, is this Toastmasters?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It estimates that 21 million people in the United States are suffering from diabetes, and that is 7% of the total population. More alarming is the fact that out of these 21 millions, 1/3 of the people don't know that they have it unless it's too late. So that's where the second question, which I'm going to raise, is very important to us. How to know if we have it? So the answer is, there are 4 symptoms which we cannot ignore. The first and the foremost is excessive urination. and frequent thirst. So excessive urination is called polyuria, and the other one is called polydipsia. So essentially, when we have high level of glucose in our body, the system, the mechanism in our body which controls the insulin flow will draw out the water from our blood, and it will lead to excessive urination, and eventually we will demand more water. So it increases the thirst as well. The second factor or second symptom is we are mostly fatigued, like our muscles will not have the same power. And the reason behind is when our glucose system is broken or it breaks down due to diabetes, then our muscles will not get the right energy or right fuel to do our day-to-day activities. And this leads to, this will eventually cause fatigue. The third one is we will lose weight. And there is a maybe due to uncontrolled insulin production or usage, our body will not be able to balance out the weight very well, and the muscle tone will lose its weight, and that's where the drop in weight is encountered. The fourth one is persistent hunger. Without insulin, the glucose level in our body will not be reaching to the cells. And even though our blood has a lot of glucose, the cells will essentially be hungry for food, or it will be demanding food all the time. Now the third question is, what is at risk? One of these books, it tells us that, or the Wall Street Journal researches that diabetes is one of the driver for premature death or serious complications like heart attack, stroke, blindness, amputation, and kidney failures. So essentially it is one of the primary, it tries to deal with our body mechanism, and we have to make sure that we are always maintaining our insulin level at a good rate. So fourth question is how to manage it or manage diabetes, to prevent it or control it. The answer is we should stay active, we should eat healthy, and make sure we lose excess fat or excess weight. We should also, in addition, go to the doctors to have our glucose level checked, including other body parameters like BMI and glucose levels, and make sure that we eat right and stay active. So these are the important points here, and with that, I pass on the control back to Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.